Coming up on Sports Paws, Quinnipiac has a new NHL draft prospect.
Plus, we have your highlights for the latest games in the baseball playoffs.
Roll the tape. Welcome to Sports Paws. I'm Jack Main.
And I'm Katie O'Keefe, and we have a packed show this evening.
Yes, we do. It is the West Coast, Best Coast, the Los Angeles Dodgers and San Diego Padres battle for the title of Southern California in Game 3 of the National League Division Series. The Dodgers were looking to finish off a 3-game sweep in the second round of these expanded playoffs here. Top of the third inning, Dodgers down a run, but Corey Seager's going to serve one up the middle. Nice stop by Tatis, but he cannot capitalize on the throw. It gets by Eric Hosmer. Mookie Betts comes in to score to tie the game at 2. Justin Turner comes up next batter. He serves one into left field. That's going to allow Seager to come in and score, and the Dodgers have a 3-2 lead. Coming up later here in the third inning, this is A.J. Pollock. He's going to serve one up into left field. Tommy Pham cannot close in on that in time. That's going to allow Justin Turner to score, and the Dodgers extend their lead to 4-2. But they were not done. This is Jock Peterson. He's going to go oppo just over the glove of the jumping Machado. That allows Bellinger to score. Right behind him is Pollock, and the Dodgers are opening this thing up early in Texas. Bellinger now top 9, going to put the finishing touch on the exclamation point win for the Dodgers. He's going to serve up a 2-run triple into right field, and the Dodgers are going to be heading back to the NLCS, reigning NL MVP Cody Bellinger and MVP candidate Mookie Betts. They are taking on the Atlanta Braves. Currently, score is 1-0 last we had. To the other side of the National League, NL MVP candidate Freddie Freeman and the Atlanta Braves look to close out on the Miami Marlins, and it was not even close as the Braves were able to sweep Miami 7-0. Atlanta just outslugs in every category, more than double the hits, had 9 strikeouts. Miami had an error in the game, and there were 6 RBIs on the side for the Braves.
Taking you now to downtown San Diego, California for Game 5 between the New York Yankees and the Tampa Bay Rays. Game 5 of the ALDS, winner moves on, loser goes home. We start off in the top of the 4th inning with big Aaron Judge hitting a bomb. This one could leave the ballpark, and it's gone. Yankees lead 1-0, and as we see here, Yankee fans are loving it. Now to the bottom of the 5th, Austin Meadows hits a deep one off Cole. Judge will try and get it, but this one's out of here. Ball game tied at 1-1. Next inning now, Rays trying to take the lead. Aro Zarana hits the long ball, but this time Brett Gardner makes the home run robbing catch.
Absolutely brilliant catch.
Right over there on the wall. Yep, great catch there by Gardner. We stay tied at 1, and Garrett Cole can thank Gardy for that one. Bottom of the 8th now, Chapman on the mound, Mike Bosrow with the big go-ahead home run in the late game. The Rays can taste victory. And let's take a look at the dugout. What a handshake, what a celebration. Last chance here for the Yankees now. Last chance, top of the 9th. He hits it. Third baseman picks it up, but Joey Wendell makes the catch. Rays hold on to win this one 2-1 and takes the series. They advance to the ALCS where they will face the infamous Astros. Let's turn the page to a different kind of baseball game, one with lots of scoring with the Astros and the Athletics. Oakland forced Game 4 after winning Wednesday night's game, but the Astros won big time on Thursday, 11-6. The A's scored 3 runs in the 3rd inning, but the Astros' explosive offense 2 innings later carouseled 5 runners. Oakland lost their momentum, and Houston scored a pair of runs in each of the next 3 innings. That sealed the deal. This puts the Astros that much closer to the championship, and Bleacher Report said it best. It's happening, quote, whether we like it or not.
Let's take a look at the updated MLB postseason bracket. And of course, this year the playoffs were expanded to allow for the extra teams to get in. And this is what it looks like right now. Houston and Tampa Bay are in the American League Championship Series. Tampa Bay is actually up 2-0. They won today. And a nail-biter game 4-2, so they have a stranglehold on that series, which will resume. And then taking a look at the National League side, the Los Angeles Dodgers and Atlanta Braves are deadlocked in a battle right now. A one-run game last we knew, but you can take a look. There were sweeps in both of the division series, Atlanta over Miami and then the Dodgers over the Padres. The Dodgers, though, they'll be back next year. I'm telling you that right now. They are an exciting young group of players, but this year it's the Dodgers or the Braves.
So now here's a look at the beginning of the end of the shortened baseball season. You'll see we'll have 2 games on Tuesday and 2 on Wednesday in this MLB preview. The World Series lies between these 4 teams. The last time the Rays won the AL League was 2008, while the Astros last won it all in 2017. However, on the other side, we have the Braves and the Dodgers. The Dodgers who won the NL 2 years ago, and the Braves who haven't made it to the World Series since 1999.
There's a lot on the line here, Katie. It's a very exciting time to be a baseball fan.
Definitely. There's been a lot of great baseball lately, like you just said, so now let's bring it to Gage Kilborne. He's live in studio and tonight's MLB analyst.
Hello, thank you for having me.
All right, Gage, so let's get it started. Who are the MVPs of the playoffs so far in each of the leagues?
So far, it's been tough in the American League to decide because it's a toss-up between either Randy Arozarena or Carlos Correa. But if you look at the numbers, Carlos Correa has been proving well with a 10 for 20 and a 500 average and 4 home runs with 12 RBI so far in this series. And the NL MVP, I'll have to go with Travis d'Arnaud. And he so far has a 421 batting average, 8 for 19 hitting-wise, a double, 2 home runs, and 7 RBIs. And he helped lead that team to the series title, to the National League Division Series champ title over the Miami Marlins.
Gage, tell us your thoughts on what you expect to see in the National League Championship Series.
In the National League Championship Series, I'm expecting more of a pitching matchup between the Braves and the Dodgers. Both of these teams have posted 2 of the best pitching performances so far throughout the postseason. The Braves have posted a .92 ERA and have thrown shutouts in 4 of their 5 postseason games, whereas the Dodgers have thrown a 2.00 ERA and have only shut out 1 out of their 5 postseason games. And this is a battle of the unbeatens. These are the last 2 remaining undefeated teams in the postseason bracket so far. So it'll be interesting to see how it will turn out, but I think the Atlanta Braves will take this in 7 games.
And now the other side, the American League. How do you think it'll play out over there?
I believe the American League will play out by 2 highly offensive teams against each other in between the Astros and the Rays. The Astros have the American League's highest batting average, the .28. Meanwhile, the Rays are sitting at .216 so far. And the Astros are relying, I think, a little too heavily on their bats to win their baseball games, and that's gotten them into some troubled situations. So I don't think the Astros will go back to the World Series this year, and I think the Rays will win it in 6 games.
Gage, thanks for joining us.
It's time for us to step away, but when we come back, Quinnipiac women's basketball and volleyball make new additions to their coaching staff. We'll introduce you to the newest members of Bobcat Nation. Stick with us here on Sports Paws. We'll be right back.
One in 3 adults has pre-diabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your favorite brother, your other brother, you, your football buddy, your football buddy, you, the boss's boss. If 1 in 3 adults has pre-diabetes, that means it could be you, your barber, your barber's barber.
Nice work.
Thanks.
You, your plumber,
Breathe right into your foot.
your plumber's masseuse.
Yes.
You, your dog walker,
On your left.
your cat jogger. Or you, your co-pilot, your co-pilot's co-pilot. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org to know where you stand.
Quinnipiac sports may not be in play, but teams are still hard at work, including training and getting some new hires. The new women's volleyball team welcomes Marsha Greenlee as an assistant coach. Greenlee helped coach at Southern Connecticut State University the last 2 seasons, and before moving up north, she had a successful background in coaching in Gainesville, Florida. There, she coached high school football and club teams, 2 of which finished very well at the USA Volleyball Junior Nationals in 2015 and 16. Head coach Kyle Robinson also says Greenlee will be a, quote, strong role model, along with assistant coach Katie Uricki. This is a fully new coaching staff compared to who we just saw 2 years ago. On the other side of things, the women's basketball team also added to their coaching staff, but as you see, it's a very familiar face. Jen Fay is back in the gym as a full-time assistant coach. Fay spent last year as a graduate assistant with the program and played 5 years at QU before that. She was nothing short of a superstar. Just to name a few, Fay finished her career as a 5-time conference champ, 4-time MAC tournament champ, and made 3 double NCAA appearances, including Quinnipiac's historic run to the Sweet 16. No doubt her experience will help from the sidelines.
This past week, Quinnipiac men's ice hockey first-year Ty Smilonic was drafted 74th overall to the Florida Panthers. Q30's Ryan Coop has more on that story.
The Florida Panthers are proud to select from the U.S. National Team Development Program in Quinnipiac University, Ty Smilonic.
Quinnipiac men's hockey first-year Ty Smilonic lived the dream of every young hockey player when he was selected 74th overall by the NHL's Florida Panthers in last week's draft.
It was a really special moment for me and my family, and to be the highest drafted player out of Quinnipiac history. That's awesome too, but I mean, there's such a great group of guys and teammates I have at Quinnipiac that they all text me immediately after it happened, and kind of everyone's supportive of everyone. So I mean, it's a cool achievement, but I'm just happy to be a part of Quinnipiac hockey.
Being drafted is just the first of many goals Ty hopes to achieve in his young hockey career.
When you start playing hockey, that's the end goal, but it didn't really hit me that was a possibility, except for the past few years. So I mean, now that it's happened, it's cool to be drafted, but it doesn't stop here. I mean, I haven't played an NHL game yet. I haven't even put on the jersey yet. So I mean, it's a cool moment I'm going to enjoy right now, but there's a lot of work to be done.
The next chapter of Ty's goals will begin later on this year as he suits up for the Bobcats.
Came out to Quinnipiac, I visited, and just fell in love with the players they have here, the culture, the coaches. So I mean, and I love the idea that hockey's the #1 thing on campus, and that's really cool to me. I could have gone to the Michigan where maybe hockey's 3rd, 4th on the order. So I mean, to come here and join a rich history of hockey and hopefully bring the first national championship back to Quinnipiac.
Ty will be joined by some pretty elite company as Quinnipiac hockey looks to make its way back to the Frozen Four for the first time since 2017.
It's been really impressive because I think he's handled it really well. You know, I think he came in, our older guys are like, oh, you know, what? Here's, you know, this national team kid, and, you know, he's going to get drafted and da-da-da. But he's been great. You know, he acts like any other freshman. You know, he has not just legitimate NHL speed, but like elite NHL speed. I think that's, you know, that's his biggest trait. I mean, he had a great summer. He's matured. He looks great. You know, he needs to work on some aspects of his game, and as every 18-year-old does, you know, and that's what we're good at. We'll round him out a little bit, get him to be a 200-foot player, but I think he's, again, got high character. He wants to do it, and that's the biggest thing, you know, whether whether it was Matt Pecker or Connor Jones, anything like that, those kids wanted to be, really good all-around players and kill penalties and, win face-offs and be good at everything. He's
We are now joined in studio by hockey beat reporter Stephen Pappas. Steve, how you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good, guys. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Steve, what should Quinnipiac fans expect from Ty Smilanic in his first year?
Listen, he's got the potential to be a superstar in the ECAC Hockey Conference. Obviously, as a freshman, you're going to see some growing pains this year with him playing in a new physical league, but hey, he's a top-rated pick in Quinnipiac history for a reason. This kid has skill, and he has skill everywhere on the ice. A center, a big center. He's going to be a huge part of this team this year. And Rand Pecknold said it best. He said this kid has talent, and you wouldn't think that he was a top draft pick by the way that he acts. He's a very high-character guy, which fits perfectly into Rand Pecknold's system. I wouldn't be surprised if this year Smilanic was in that ECAC Hockey Rookie of the Year conversation. For Pecknold, again, he was surprised that Smilanic dropped the way that he did. I think we all were. We were all expecting late in the second round, maybe mid-second round for Smilanic, dropped all the way down to early third round. Rand Pecknold said it had something to do with his injuries that he sustained last year, partially why the GMs in the NHL were a little gun-shy to be able to pick him. But 74th overall to the Florida Panthers, the highest draft pick in Quinnipiac history. He's going to be a good one. I should be really excited to see him come whenever the ECAC hockey season starts.
Steve, I got to ask, who were the winners of this year's NHL draft?
I got to go with the team that had the first overall pick in the New York Rangers. That was the easiest pick that they had, taking Alexis Lafreniere, number one. He's a big physical scorer. He facilitates the puck really well. And like I mentioned, he's able to stick up for himself and be able to play that physical game that some of the more European-style players haven't been able to really, it takes them a while to get to. But where the Rangers really impressed me with this draft was in those later rounds, and even in the late first round. They took Braden Schneider, a defenseman, a big defenseman, a defensive defenseman, something that they've been craving for so long. And you look down the line, they took a bunch of centers at the end of the draft, something that they really need because that center depth on that team, you know how important centers are in the NHL, and to be able to stockpile at centers is so important. My other team is the Ottawa Senators, the team that had 3 first-round picks this year. They had the third pick in Tim Stutzel, who has some questions coming out of the DEL, not necessarily the greatest development league. It's a very different style of hockey played in the DEL, but he's definitely a potential number one center for the Senators. And then Jake Sanderson, the defenseman, he's going to be a top pairing defenseman. And then they got good depth players on day 2.
With winners come losers, and who ended up on the wrong side of the NHL draft this year?
So I'm going to start with the Vancouver Canucks, and by no means is this a bad thing. They're a team that's playoff ready now. They were in the playoffs this year. We're poised to make a deep run, and that just comes with the territory. When you try to make deep runs, you're not going to have that many draft picks, and they didn't have a draft pick until pick number 82 this year, and it didn't really impress anybody. They have been winning the free agency, though, this year, as they just signed Nate Schmidt, but that has nothing to do with the draft, so we'll stay away from that. They didn't really have any steals later in the draft, but I'm not as worried about the Vancouver Canucks having a bad draft because they're a team that was able to draft well in the past, and now they're really building in free agency. So it might be a bad draft, but not the end of the world. For the Islanders, there wasn't really anything that the Islanders really did in the draft that made anybody turn their heads. They didn't have a pick until pick number 90. They took Alex Youngkratz with that pick, and they didn't really do much to bolster the rest of that team. They lost former QU defenseman Devon Taves today, so they have some questions that they needed to address in that draft, and they didn't. But, it is what it is at this point. They have to go out through free agency now, but for me, the Canucks and the Islanders were the 2 losers in this year's draft.
Thanks, Stephen. From the ice to the turf, here's the highlights from some Sunday night football. It's the Minnesota Vikings and the Seattle Seahawks. The undefeated Seattle Seahawks played host to the Minnesota Vikings, and Seattle here is looking to improve 5-0 on the young season. Here's in the first quarter, midway through, Dalvin Cooks runs it up the middle and into the end zone, giving the Vikings an early lead. Minnesota goes up 7-0. Third quarter, Minnesota up 13-0. Seattle's able to finally get on board as Russell Wilson hits Will Disley on a beautiful pass in the end zone. Minnesota up now 13-7. Middle of the third quarter, it's Chris Carson muscling his way into the end zone, extending Seattle's lead. What an individual effort there by Carson.
Great run.
trying to settle down, but he's too excited. We'll take it soon to the fourth quarter. Seattle's up by 2, and Kirk Cousins is able to hit Adam Thielen, who was able to cross the plane of the goal line, giving the Vikings the lead late in the game. Minnesota up 26-21. Later, here's a chance for Seattle, and Wilson is able to hit his favorite target, DK Metcalf, in the end zone on 4th with only 15 seconds left to seal a Seattle victory. Seattle wins this one 27-26, right by their teeth. With the win, Seattle stays undefeated and improves to 5-0 as Russell Wilson continues to impress everyone and make a run at the league MVP.
The undefeated Kansas City Chiefs welcomed in the Las Vegas Raiders to Arrowhead Stadium early on Sunday. Could Patrick Mahomes keep the Chiefs chugging along? Chiefs, one of the only franchises in the NFL right now to have fans at the game. And it's going to be advantage Kansas City early as Pat Mahomes is going to fake the option and then head straight for the corner. He is in on the 3-yard touchdown dash, and that is going to put Kansas City ahead. Pat Mahomes soaking it all up, but how is Derek Carr going to respond? He is going to find former Eagle Nelson Aguilar on the over-the-shoulder catch. He would power his way into the end zone, and that would give the Raiders their first touchdown of the game, and they weren't done yet. And trailing late in the second, Carr looking on the go route for Henry Ruggs, who wheels this one in, and he's going to go untouched for the score. Raiders go up late in the second, but the game is tied at 24 heading into the third when second-year back Josh Jacobs is going to take the handoff from Carr, and he is going to bully his way into the end zone and put Vegas up, and then they were just going to continue to pour it on here late in the game. Jacobs soaking up that last touchdown, and he's going to get this one as well to put the exclamation point on a huge victory for Vegas. They come into Arrowhead and beat the Chiefs for the first time since November 2019 on a final of 40-24.
With that, here's a look now at the AFC standings. You've got the Bills, Steelers, and Titans rounding out the top 3, all with perfect records, but we know it's still early. The Bills finished last season 10-6 and lost in the first round of the playoffs. Josh Allen also having a great year, so we'll see how that plays out. And tomorrow the Bills play the Titans, who have seen a recent breakout in positive COVID-19 cases. And now we'll go to the NFC standings. Seattle Seahawks, Green Bay Packers. They're up at the top 2, and they are the only 2 with the perfect record. The Seahawks and Packers and the New Orleans Saints are actually playing right now, the LA Chargers. And Jack, last time we checked, they were down by 1 touchdown in the first quarter,
Yeah,
but
Chargers were up last time. We knew that game is likely in halftime at this point.
you're right.
Let's take a look at how the NFL standings line up after Week 5. This is our coming up. Right now, Kansas City and Buffalo are the undefeated teams in this matchup, but Buffalo's going to play tomorrow night as they're going to make up some COVID-19 games. So that game's going to happen on Thursday, and that's going to be a heavyweight matchup. And then obviously you have a big rivalry in Pittsburgh and Cleveland. And then your Sunday night games, you've got Green Bay and Tampa Bay. Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, always a headlining matchup as well.
An exciting game. We're going to take one more quick commercial break, but when we come back, we'll have the highlights from the NBA Finals and how the Lakers made it to the top in probably their most difficult year. Plus, your local preview. What games to watch and why? Coming up.
There are amazing things to discover in the forest.
Toothless, time to go. What you picking up on, bud?
It's a whole hidden world of wonders. And the perfect place to spend time with family. What better place to let your imagination soar? Experience nature and create a memory you can share. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest or park near you.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
Welcome back to Sports Paws. LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers were looking to lock up a historic NBA Finals in the Orlando bubble on Sunday night, but could they close things out against Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat? And here we go. They were unable to close out in Game 5 in the Mamba jerseys, and Jimmy Butler came off a historic Game 5 performance, but LeBron James came out very determined, as you see here on the big slam dunk in the first quarter. He's going to continue to bully his way into the paint. Just an unfair matchup to go up against a determined LeBron James. You see him go in there with the reverse left-handed layup. The Lakers would just pour this game on. As you can see, KCP in the corner, he would miss, but AD gets the board. He's going to go up and bully his way against Jay Crowder. Anthony Davis had something to prove. KCP is going to try for three again, and he hits the splash. And then in the corner, it's KCP once again. He would go off as the game at halftime is already fairly one-sided. LeBron James is going to get the inside pass here to Cadwell Pope. He's unable to finish, but AD is, and then the football pass to Anthony Davis into Kyle Kuzma. He's able to capitalize, and LeBron James with the free throw jumper pretty much all but sealing this one here in the third quarter, but we continue on. As can the Heat try to do something? This is Caruso into LBJ. An emphatic slam from the King. He was looking for his fourth Finals MVP, and he would get it as the Los Angeles Lakers win in a year that was destined for them to win as they take the NBA Finals.
LeBron never disappoints. Meanwhile, the Seattle Storm are your WNBA 2020 champs, and they did it all in a sweeping 3-0 fashion over the Las Vegas Aces, winning it in 92-59. Yet from the stats here, you see the Aces played better on turnovers and three-pointers, but it was Breanna Stewart who shined for the Storm and was named the MVP. This is the team's fourth championship, last time winning it in 2018.
Let's look ahead at what's in store for the local area professional-wise. I know I will be tuned in to the Broncos-Patriots game. They were unable to play this week due to COVID-19 cases, but I'm super excited to see Cam Newton return to action, as well as the Titans. They haven't played in a week as well. And then, of course, you have the NFC East, the Giants, and the Washington football team. They will be playing in the 1 o'clock slot. And then, of course, the Jets and Dolphins playing in the 4:05 slot on Sunday as well. Great slate of games coming up this weekend. Some division rivalries, some former rivals trying to make something new happen here. It is going to be a great week of NFL football.
Of course, and you got the Patriots game up there. Of course, we go in school in New England. You got to watch that game.
Gotta love it. But that's all the time we have for tonight. Thank you so much for watching.
And you can always stay up to date with us by following our Twitter at Q30Sports and visiting our website at Q30TV.com.
Thanks to the crew behind the scenes and the producers of the show for making this one happen. We will see you next week for another episode of Sports Paws.